upside down, that is what COVID-19 has done.
COVID-19 has taught the entire world the power of exponentials.
In investing and in economics, it is the most adaptable that will survive.
Let's see what questions are there for the both of you.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here at the Upside Down event and to work with the team from NN Invest. Today, the world is global and exponential. Things are not changing year to year, they're changing month to month. Something happens in China or India, you know about it seconds later. Your computers know about it microseconds later. When I think about how fast the world is changing from exponential technologies, it's the equivalent over the last 10 or 20 years as almost a disruptive asteroid striking the planet. In early 2020, this year, there was another asteroid that struck the planet, and that asteroid was the SARS-CoV-2, the COVID-19 pandemic. And that asteroid strike has caused so much rapid change that it truly is disrupting industry after industry after industry, and that's the way that I think about it. You know, COVID-19 has taught the entire world the power of exponentials, something that I've been working on teaching for decades now. So what does exponential growth feel like? What does it even mean? So all of us are linear thinkers. I have two 9-year-old boys and they're in a linear phase, as we all are. If you take 30 linear steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 30 linear steps, you're 30 meters away. But if I ask you to take 30 exponential steps, where an exponential is a simple doubling, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, in 30 doublings, you're not 30 meters away. This is for the first time ever we are facing what I call a singular enemy. And as I'm looking around on science labs and hospitals and physicians' offices, there are thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of experiments ongoing right now that will bring a tsunami of solutions. We are transforming and reinventing everything. So if you, your company, what you invest in are focused on really transformation, this is an incredible time. Now, I teach about something I call the 6 Ds of exponential technologies, that whatever we digitize enters a period of slow, deceptive growth. But then all of a sudden, 30 doublings later, it's a billion times better, and it's disruptive. And ultimately, it dematerializes, demonetizes, and democratizes products and services. So what does that mean? Here we see it. 20 years later, all of these things fit in your pocket. They become ones and zeros. They're dematerialized. Right? This is why Radio Shack no longer exists. And when you dematerialize a product and service and it's ones and zeros, the cost of replicating it or transmitting it is effectively zero. So we're demonetizing all of these products and services. And ultimately, because they can be sent anywhere, we're democratizing them. We've all been living on Zoom fatigue. And just check this out, right? From December, going from 10 million actual daily users to 300 million daily users. It's a $47 billion market cap. And what it's done is digitize, dematerialize, and demonetize travel. So Zoom today is worth more than the next 7 largest airlines around the world. We have a meta trend of increasing human-robot collaboration. So we're about to see a whole new generation of delivery robots. This is Starship, that is deploying across college campuses, but these robots are going to be delivering your meals from your local restaurants to your doorstep, especially under the restrictions of COVID-19. We have a whole series of drone delivery services coming as well. But besides these robots, here's another robot. Boston Dynamics is an incredible company. It's now owned by Masa-san at SoftBank, used to be owned by Google. Started by an MIT professor who's brilliant, Dr. Mark Rabert. And every year, these robots get better and better, not because the sensors or the actuators, but because of the machine learning. that helps them act and behave more human. What if you could actually beam yourself in to a robotic avatar? So imagine in the future, I'm not coming to you digitally like this, but instead there is a robot that looks like me walking around in your offices or in your living room, and I'm able to put on a pair of VR goggles and a haptic suit and inhabit that robot. Come over and shake your hand, come over and look around. If I'm a doctor, I'm able to do a medical exam. If I'm a disaster relief worker, I can go and help someone who needs help. Today, there are 20 gene therapy treatments that are approved by the FDA and 400 trials going on. And what a gene therapy treatment, it's nothing less than magical, where you take a virus vector, and this is a friendly virus that you've tamed, and you take the correct gene that a person might be missing, or the need for an extra copy of that gene, and you put it into the virus, and the virus is injected into the body, and it goes to the right cells, the muscle cells, the kidney cells, the blood cells, whatever it might be, and injects the proper copy into your body. So gene therapy is extraordinary. AI is going to change things so rapidly that many of us are not ready for it. So I want to give you my thoughts. There are going to be two kinds of companies at the end of this decade. Those that are fully using AI and those that are out of business. Here are some of the predictions. AI-driven companies will take $1.2 trillion from competitors this year in 2020. Let's take a look at 2021. AI is going to generate $2.9 trillion in business value and recover 6.2 billion hours of worker productivity by 2021. And then finally, by 2030, we're going to see the economy grow by $15 trillion based upon AI. I truly believe that the world's biggest problems, the world's biggest business opportunities, entrepreneurs today more than ever are looking to solve these challenges and these problems.
What an inspiring talk by Peter Diamandis. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And it has so much connections to what I also want to talk about. But let me first, also from my side, really welcome you to this event. Great to be here, great to be able to connect with you in these challenging times. One of the first things that I would really like to touch upon, which also links to what Peter was saying about the dramatic pace of change that is unfolding on the back of COVID and on many technological forces, also climate forces, is that it is really crucial to understand that this COVID-19 crisis exposed not only fragility in how we organize our economies and societies, our personal lives, but also pointed out again how fragile some of the assumptions are underneath our economic and finance theory. So for us at NNIP, it is therefore very central in how we approach investing to think about this in a way of entrepreneurial innovation. You see a number of data, alternative data that we never used to look at before, about the evolution of COVID contagion, about the degree of lockdowns, about the mobility that we see in different cities and countries, and measuring that on a daily basis, how these data have now become super relevant to capture what is actually happening underneath in our economic system. It also showcases you that you not only need to be open to this, exploring this type of data, putting them together in a comprehensive way and timely way, but also that you need to combine that with human insight. This crisis has, I think, created for all of us a reflection on what we care about most, what we value, what is most important to balance our lives. We strongly believe that will only further accelerate a transformation towards a more sustainable economy. And if that transformation and shift in behavior is taking place, from an investment perspective, the need to really accelerate, maybe in an exponential way, in terms of responsible way of investing, I think is only getting bigger. Already, we integrate ESG factors in close to 70% of the assets that we manage and the investment processes that we use for that. One of the most fascinating and really positive lessons or experiences from this whole COVID-19 crisis has been that it was another proof point that future-proof business models are better able to digest these types of unexpected shocks. that they have embedded probably also a better way to adapt, but also care more about what is critical in the future to be successful as a business. Our own sustainable investment strategies had an amazing performance over this period, but it was not only at NNIP. You can see in the articles here, also on the slide, it was really an industry-wide phenomenon. And the positive thing about that is that it clearly underscores that a sustainable approach to investing can coincide very well with also creating attractive returns. So what we're seeing is that capital is really being put to work more than ever to accelerate that sustainable transformation of the underlying economy. If you look back, just 3-4 months ago, what has happened over that period? We started the year with sort of ignorance about it. We knew about the contagion in China, but still felt it was not a global phenomenon. Then we realized and panicked in March, and markets tanked at an unprecedented pace, much faster even than in 2008. And also keeping up with the pace was the response of policymakers in the third phase. Unprecedented both in size, in scope, both monetary and fiscal, and pace of execution. And thereafter, in the recent weeks, sort of a sweet spot where that policy impetus is still there, but also the lockdowns are being eased. The blockers for future growth and a recovery are being eased. And now we are all wondering, what's next? You know, we're really seeing unexpected things. And it comes back to what I think is central also to my thinking about how markets evolve. You have to always expect the unexpected. Who had expected that unemployment would jump to such a degree? Not once or twice or 3 times as much as we've seen in the past. But in the US, jobless claims, weekly unemployment claims jumped more than 10 times as much as they did in 2008 in the biggest economic crisis that we have experienced in our careers. And despite that massive impact on the economy, what did we see after the correction in financial markets? We actually saw an amazing rally, especially in equity markets, where in April we had the strongest rebound since 1987 in 1 month's time in global equity markets. So when we think about the reality around us, we also have to be honest, and we have to acknowledge that there's only a few things that we know. Yes, government debt will be higher than we've ever seen and accelerate sharply. And monetary policymakers will accommodate like never before, not only in the US and Europe, but in almost any country in the world, including emerging markets. But the critical elements to determine how the future will evolve and where opportunities will be seen are very unknown. What will happen to the growth scenario in the long term? Will we basically see a Japanification at a global scale of secular stagnation, very low growth, and thereby very limited investment opportunities, or at least less opportunities? Or will we actually see an enormous acceleration in growth on the back of the shock that this generates in a positive sense, and all the innovation that is coming from it? And finally an acceleration in productivity growth like we saw in the 1990s. And then on the back of that, this enormous amount of new investment opportunities, and thereby probably very attractive investment returns. Both scenarios seem plausible, but it's very uncertain which way the future will tilt. At NNIP, we really have the ambition to basically show and lead how you can best manage and digest uncertainty. And one of the key principles for us is that we don't believe we can do it on our own, and we really want to do that together with you. And one of the things I think we all need to take into account when participating in this exercise is that no matter where we are going, we still always need to expect the unexpected.